Good evening, sweetheart. It's been a while since I've had a chance to do this, but we have to finish the book of Esther, so I am going to read chapter 3 to you. So it starts out with verse 1. It says, "Sometime later, King Xerxes promoted Haman, son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, over all the other nobles, making him the most powerful official in the empire. All the king's officials would bow down before Haman to show him respect whenever he passed by, for that's what the king commanded. But Mordecai refused to bow down or show him respect, because Mordecai only bowed down to God. Then the palace officials at the king's gate asked Mordecai, 'Why are you disobeying the king's command?' They spoke to him day after day, but still he refused to comply with the order. You're not supposed to bow down to anybody else except for Jesus. So they spoke to Haman about it to see if he would tolerate Mordecai's conduct, since Mordecai told them he was a Jew. When Haman saw that Mordecai would not bow down or show him respect, he was filled with rage. He had learned of Mordecai's nationality, so he decided it was not enough to lay hands on Mordecai alone. Instead, he looked for a way to destroy all the Jews throughout the entire empire of Xerxes. All of them. Just because Mordecai wouldn't bow down to him. Wow. So in the month of April, during the 12th year of King Xerxes' reign, lots were cast in Haman's presence. The lots were called Purim. They're kind of like dice. And God used it, and if it turned one way, then that was a yes. And if it turned another way, then that was a no. But that's how God showed people what to do in situations when they needed to know. So anyway, lots were cast to determine the best day and month to take action. And the day they selected was March 7th, nearly a year later. So he's planning this a year ahead of time. Then Haman approached King Xerxes and said, "There is a certain race of people scattered through all the provinces of your empire who keep themselves separate from everyone else. Their laws are different from those of other people, and they refuse to obey the laws of the king. So, it is not in the king's interest to let them live." Dun, dun, dun. "If it please the king, issue a decree that they will be destroyed, and I will give 10,000 large sacks of silver to the government administrators to be deposited in the royal treasury." He's paying to be able to kill all the Jews. That's awful. And guess what? The king agreed, confirming his decision by removing his signet ring from his finger and giving it to Haman, son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, the enemy of the Jews. When you made a law with that ring and sealed it with the ring, nobody could change it, not even the king. He couldn't go back and switch it. Verse 11, the king said, "The money and the people are both yours to do with as you see fit." He said, okay, you can do whatever you want. You can kill him. What? So, on April 17th, the king's secretaries were summoned, and a decree was written exactly as Haman dictated. It was sent to the king's highest officers, the governors of the respective provinces, and the nobles of each province in their own scripts and languages. The decree was written in the name of King Xerxes and sealed with the king's signet ring. Uh-oh. Dispatches were sent by swift messengers into all the provinces of the empire, giving the order that all Jews, young and old, including women and children, must be, this is awful, must be killed, slaughtered, and annihilated on a single day. What on earth? This was scheduled to happen on March 7th of the next year. And then the property of the Jews that got killed would be given to whoever killed them. That's crazy. A copy of this decree was to be issued as law in every province and proclaimed to all peoples, so they would be ready to do their duty on the appointed day. At the king's command, the decree went out by swift messengers, and it was also proclaimed in the fortress of Susa. Then the king and Haman sat down to drink, but the city of Susa fell into confusion. Oh my goodness, of course, with a law like that, everybody's freaking out because they know they're going to die on March 7th the next year. That's awful. But that's chapter 3. I'll do chapter 4 here in a minute, okay? I love you. Good night.